You start as a sitting in 1503, Florence. A woman named Lisa takes a seat on a wooden chair. Across from her, a man in his 50s with paint on his fingers and a very focused stare picks up his brush. He doesn't rush. He watches her. He mixes oils. He layers glaze over glaze, muttering to himself like he's chasing a ghost. You're just the canvas in front of him, catching the light, holding still. He doesn't paint you in a day. He paints you over years. He takes you with him when he moves. Not to a gallery, but to his workshop, to his bedside. You watch him age, watch him pack his bags for France, dragging you along like a favorite book. He dies over there. Still holding a brush, still tweaking that smile. He never actually hands you over. Which is kind of funny because that unfinished edge is exactly what makes you legendary later. Then the king steps in. Francis I of France. He buys you from Leonardo's assistant for a heavy sack of gold. You get wrapped in velvet and moved to a fancy chateau. Suddenly, it's gold frames and candlelight. Rich people stare at you and nod like they understand art. They don't. They just like expensive things. You get moved again and again, palace to palace. Dust settles on your frame. Wars start outside. You spend years hidden behind heavy curtains while cannons shake the walls. The revolution happens, the guillotine drops. The palaces catch fire. A museum worker literally runs into the smoke, grabs you off the wall, and drags you through broken glass just to keep you safe. You stop being royal decoration. You become public property. They hang you in the Louvre. Quiet rooms, polished floors. You think you finally retired? You're wrong. This is where it gets weird. 1911. A maintenance worker walks past your frame, stops, looks left, looks right, lifts you off the hook, hides you under his coat. Just like that. You're gone. For 2 years, you live in a wooden trunk in a tiny Paris apartment. Do you know how boring a trunk is? No light. No art critics. Just dust and the occasional moth. Meanwhile, the world loses its mind. Newspapers scream. Police search every attic in France. The Louvre leaves an empty spot on the wall and acts like it's a national tragedy. You're not a painting anymore. You're a missing person case. And honestly, you're enjoying the quiet. Then they catch him. Turns out he just wanted to sell you to an Italian museum. Patriotism, or so he claims. You're packed up, shipped back, and returned with a parade. But something changed. You came back different, not the paint, the vibe. Before the theft, you were just another Renaissance portrait hanging in a crowded room. Now, you're a celebrity. Cameras flash. Crowds push. People book flights across oceans just to see your smile. You watch them line up, hundreds a day. They stare. They take notes. They argue about what you're thinking. Spoiler, you're not thinking anything. You're just tired and slightly annoyed by the flash photography. They move you to a bigger wall, then a glass case, then a whole room just for you. You get moved behind bulletproof glass, 1980s. No more touching. You're in a fortress now. Then the attacks start. Cake, soup, red paint. People throw things at the glass. You don't even blink. You're safe. And they look ridiculous. But the real torture starts in the 2000s. The phones. Suddenly, everyone's holding a screen, selfie sticks, flashes. You're not art anymore. You're a background prop for vacation photos. The internet turns you into a meme. Cats, emojis, parodies. You stop being a Renaissance masterpiece and start being a template for jokes. You watch the world change. The languages shift. The fashion dies. And you realize something. You're going to outlive them, all of them. Eventually, the crowds thin out. The museum closes. The lights go out. It's quiet again. Just like that trunk in 1911, but this time, you know you're staying. You're the Mona Lisa, and you're just waiting for the next universe to figure you out. And the Mona Lisa said, subscribe.